we try to start and end everything by doing what we call in Buddhism dedicating the merit, which translates to just wishing that all of the good things, well, all the not so good things that happen here, that they be purified, that they dissipate, that they dissolve, and that all of the good things benefit all beings. So may all our efforts benefit all beings. So I'm Catherine Pawasarat, and I wanted to share about our experiences with conscious community and integral. And I wanted to start with homage to my guru. We knew him as Qapel, it's his Zen name, or also Duncan, and he just passed away in October, and it seems the community here has experienced a lot of deaths. And grief is a kind of unifier. There have been 10 of us here at the conference together. It's been really valuable for us to celebrate being together as a way to process our grief, and to be here together, to show up together as a way to process our grief, as a kind of tribute to our teacher. And I know there's a lot of challenges around the guru concept and relationships with gurus nowadays, and I can certainly understand that. He was my guru. He was also my partner for 27 years. He was both. That was very challenging. So I know a lot of different sides of that experience. And devotion is a path. Devotion is a spiritual path. Devotion has been a path for thousands of years, probably longer, tens of thousands probably. Cynicism is not a path. And naivete is also not a path. So when I talk about devotion, I'm not talking about naivete. We're very focused on spiritual awakening in this lifetime, in the very traditional Buddhist and Hindu sense. They're a little bit different, but they're similar. And a lot of the world's wisdom traditions have this in different forms and names. That's the center of our spiritual practice, and devotion is one important part of that. This is Qapel's teacher. His name's Namgyal Rinpoche. You can see he was born and raised in Canada. Very interesting person. He moved to London as a young man. He was a young communist, went to Moscow must have been the 50s, and decided he wasn't a communist anymore, and moved to London and was a student in the Western mysteries. So that would be like the Kabbalah and alchemy and tarot, that ancient tradition. And it's said that he awakened in that tradition, and that next he met a Burmese monk in London, Uttilawanta Sayadaw, who I have a photo of coming up. And he moved to Yangon and studied in Burma, Myanmar, and Thailand for 6 years in the 50s. Moved back to London, eventually moved back to Canada. Traveling the world was a really big part of his teaching. He traveled the world with his students so that we could experience what the world is like for ourselves. We know it is not what the media tells us. That's a direct experiential education. That's still very valuable for us today. And being here, wow, this experience of Hungary has been so fantastic. An experience of meeting so many different nationalities has been so enriching. So part of his travel, he went to India in the 70s, met the Dalai Lama, and this is the 16th Karmapa. And he walked in and they spontaneously said, "Where have you been?" And spontaneously recognized him as Namgyal Rinpoche. So I explain this for two reasons. One, lineage is really important to me because it connects us with the path, and the lineage goes back much further. And if it connects us with the path, that gives us roots, and that connects us with the future, right? I'm always thinking about who comes next and who comes after that, and what can we leave for them? And our community is very much about that, building something that we can give to youth and future generations that they can build on, and that feels so important now, and so I feel so excited about doing that now, because I don't want young people to inherit despair about the future. There's Namgyal Rinpoche at the end of his life. We were in Japan. There's Duncan, and you can see Karen's red hair. So we studied with him a bit at the end of his life. I received lay ordination from him. And we met in Japan. Our teacher, Qapel, was invited to Japan to teach. You lived in Japan for how many years? 13. And Duncan for 4. And I lived in Japan for about 20 years. And Karen's from Ireland. Duncan's from the UK, from England. I was born in the US. We live in Canada now. Erica, too, from the US. And and then we met in Japan. We're proud of our multiculturalism. That's Sayadaw in the middle, our teacher's teacher in Yangon. We went to visit him. He was 99 years old here. So we have this really strong Buddhist background. We're really committed meditators. We do a lot of retreat work. We do a lot of spiritual practices. And this was in September at Clear Sky, our retreat center's Clear Sky. It was our 20th anniversary. We were celebrating that. And Qapel gave a teaching, a presentation, and he said, the future of Dharma, the future of Buddhism is intertwined with integral. So everybody needs to get more familiar with integral and practice integral. We had been studying integral on and off for about 15 years, mostly the theory, which we loved, but it was kind of theoretical. And the last 8 years or so, we've been moving more about how we can practice it. And I'll be talking about that today. Okay, so because we've got this Buddhist background, we're really on about waking up. We're really on about spiritual awakening, and which we believe can only be verified by someone else who has awakened, who has had it verified by someone who has awakened. So again, the importance of lineage. And then we do it for the benefit of all beings. So it's not to be like a more wonderful person or to be happier. It's so that we can help. And that's becoming such a compelling thing in this day and age for me. So what do we mean by enlightenment? This is in Los Angeles. We have a different definition of enlightenment than whoever put that sign up. Right? So in Buddhism, anyhow, enlightenment is very technical. There are criteria, there are stages. It's very well mapped. It's very specific. And that's the meaning that we use. So awakening has become part of everyday language now. And I think they're talking about something else. I think when people use it in standard language, like having an awakening moment. In our definition, awakening is an ongoing state, and the process of becoming more awakened is of it permeating the being more and more on an ongoing basis until it's complete. And that's very rare, and that's very fantastic, that's very wonderful, that's very supportive to the planet and all beings on it.